Okay, hello, welcome to this video. We are going to talk about some track work programs on the Long Island Railroad, and how the Long Island Railroad and the MTA kind of lied to us about what was going on. And, I don't have a problem with what is going on. It needs to be done. So we're going to read to you here. This was back from the July committee books here. It says on the main line, concrete tie and switch installation on the weekend of September 16th and 17th. That's next weekend. 2 out of 3 main tracks between Queens and Maryland Avenue, and 1 of 2 main tracks between Hicksville and Bethpage will be taken out of service for a switch installation near Floral Park, and also for concrete tie installation and rail replacement between Hicksville and Bethpage. Now, when I hear this, and when I first read this, I'm like, oh, maybe they're finally going to fix that switch at Floral Park. The slow switch going east. But from when I asked around, people are saying that's not what's going on. It has something to do with Elmont Park instead. All right. But it says because of these things, and obviously we need the concrete ties in between Hicksville and Bethpage. That section is still wood. All right. So in support of the switching concrete tie installation, there are service adjustments. All right. Though they're not specific on what those service adjustments are. Basically, what has happened, and we'll show you here in the if we go to the train time here, you'll see. It says reduced service. Trains run every hour between Manhattan and Huntington, and every 2 hours between Huntington and Port Jefferson. The same thing for Ronkonkoma. So basically, you'll have service to Penn Station, but there's no service to Grand Central. They have hourly service because, again, they have to do this track work, and I understand that, all right? But they said it was going to be next weekend, so why is it happening this weekend? So if we go to the PDF timetables here, you'll see here's this weekend right here, all right? And then they have it again for not just next weekend, but another weekend, the September 30th to October 1st. So, again, they're kind of dragging it over the 3 weekends. I'm guessing maybe they need 3 weekends to do all this work, but they're not really specific on what's being done. So let me explain to you again what's going on. So they say it's happening in Floral Park, all right? So if we go and we look at we don't know how new these views are here, but it should show, oh, well, there's a wood track there. I'm wondering if they have to replace. Yeah, here's the switch right here. So this is the slow switch right here. So I thought, well, they're going to be doing something. I mean, they could just need to put a new switch in here. I mean, this isn't a big deal. You put a new switch in here, and it's a higher speed switch. There's room. I don't understand why they can't do it. Because this switch is terrible here. All right, so that's what I thought they're doing. But I'm wondering now if that is actually what they're doing. But I haven't really gotten an answer. I kind of asked around, and nobody's really been that clear to me on what they're doing. But if they are replacing the switch, this is good news, and it needs to be done because that switch is very slow. But what I've heard, it has to do more with Elmont Park, which is over here. If we go to the park, Elmont Park here, it has more to do with this than with that. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, all right? If somebody in the comments can explain that to me, I'd really appreciate it, all right? The other thing that's being done, obviously, is this section here between Hicksville and Bethpage is still wood ties. So if you go here and look at here, you still have wood, so that has to be replaced with concrete. So I understand why they have to, reduce service on the Ronkonkoma line. As far as the Huntington line, I think they're replacing the ties also because Hicksville also has wood, I think, as well. So may have to replace the ties there too, so I can understand that, obviously. But I guess they need 3 weekends to do it. I mean, this is I guess a pretty big stretch of track here to replace. So yeah, they're not going to be able to do that in 1 weekend. And actually, the wood ties I think go beyond that, so they're probably going to replace all of this out to maybe B Tower, probably. So again, that's what I think is going on. So again, work needs to be done. I don't have a problem with that. It's just I wish they would have been more clear in communicating that it wasn't just going to be 1 weekend. It was going to be 3 weekends that this work has to be done. So I'll show you the schedules here, what they like. So you pretty much have hourly service on the Ronkonkoma line instead of half hourly service. Again, to support this work here. They have different times for certain days. Some days, Sunday only, it looks like the train eastbound is not going to stop at UBS Arena. And then so you have pretty much hourly service here on the Ronkonkoma line. So instead of every half an hour, you have hourly service, all serving Penn Station. All right. At least they're taking at least they're keeping the service dependent. Not the Grand Central service doesn't get as many people. service to Penn, obviously. And on the Port Jefferson line, you're going to have, again, service every hour. So at all the mainline local stations, like Westbury, you're stuck with hourly service. And on the Huntington line, and every 2-hour service to Port Jefferson, basically. All right. So, and again, let's look at then they have the next one here. They have here. It's just, I think, pretty much the same schedule. I'm going to look at it right now, just briefly here. Let's show you this here, and the times may even be the same as well. So yeah, all right. There is a slight, No, they're more or less the same. So more or less the same that you have here. You're gonna have here due to this work again that they're doing. Let's see. I'm assuming they're still going to serve UBS, or are they not serving UBS at all because of that? It looks like they are not serving UBS at all. So, yeah, they're going to be skipping UBS Arena on those weekends again because of this track work. And I'm really hoping that it is a replacement of that switch in Floral Park. And also the concrete ties, because apparently that section is still wood. I thought that was all concrete. But whatever the case is, the work needs to be done. I just wish they would have been clearer on, that's going to be over 3 weekends instead of just 1 weekend. Obviously, it's a lot of work that has to be done, so that kind of makes sense. Hempstead Branch might be on different times, too, as well. I think Hempstead Branch will still serve UBS Arena. And you'll still have mainline trains stopping at Floral Park. So Floral Park actually is still going to see half-hourly service, it looks like. Yeah. The other thing that kind of puzzles me is when I look at the Montauk line here. There's still, like, trains on the Montauk line, like this 809 from Jamaica. That's still, it looks like it still appears to run via the main line. If we look at the Babylon branch schedule, you'll see that. And that's kind of annoys me because now you've reduced mainline service. Those Montauk trains should be making Mineola and Hicksville. All right, so if we look at this here, the schedule here, I think you'll see, here you go. Actually, you got 2 of them. So here's one at 7:13 here on the Babylon branch, and again, you can see, it's going to be the main line because there's a 7:10 before it, and it gets to Babylon before that train. So it's taking the main line, but if it's taking the main line, it should be making stops at Mineola and Hicksville. Again, they love doing this stuff. Same thing here, 809, same thing. They just love. It's like the snobs on the Montauk branch. They feel like they're too good to stop at Mineola and Hicksville, and that's not right. This is public transportation, but this is something the railroad keeps dodging, and they just don't want to admit. Again, it's just discrimination. Again, that's the discrimination part against the main line. I'm not saying this track work is, but I'm saying that there, and the fact that they weren't clear about this also is the discrimination factor as well. So, and the other thing, of course, is I thought, well, maybe they'd be running longer cars, longer train sets here. But you can see, look, here's an 8-car train from Ronkonkoma that is going to Penn Station. That's crowded. Kind of got a whole bunch of these screenshots here to show you. Here's a Huntington train. See, this one's 12 cars, and I saw this. I'm like, oh, that's good. But they still have they shouldn't be running any 8-car trains on the main line. Here's a 10-car train on the Ronkonkoma line that is crowded. Again, I think they all should be 12 cars, but at least 10. All right. Here's another train that's crowded here. So there's going to be a lot of crowding on the main line over the next couple of weekends here. See 10 cars here. All right. And I think we have an event at UBS Arena tonight as well. So that's another thing going on. You can see here this train also 8 cars crowded. So again, there are some 8-car trains running around on the main line, and with reduced service, they have no business running 8-car trains on the main line. Here's another one. All right. So I'm just showing. I took these screenshots just to kind of show you. Meanwhile, I see an empty train on the Babylon branch going to Grand Central. And let's see. We got another one here. Again, you got a lot of crowding going on. Here we go. So here's another 12-car train going to Huntington at least. So at least they had some 12 cars. Still crowded, but at least they had 12 cars. That's the best they can do at this time. So let's go look at train time here. We're going to look and see what we have as far as crowding situations go on the trains tonight. Let's see. We have a Huntington train here, so this one is late. And let's see how crowded it is. We'll go to cars. Yep, only 8 cars. Is that 8 cars? 2, 4, 6, 8. Why are they putting an 8-car train on that? See, that's discrimination. That's not right. You know, they have reduced service. You shouldn't be running only an 8-car train. That's the kind of discrimination that's going on right now. So let's look at this here. This is a westbound. Let's see, a westbound Huntington train. Another 8-car train, but it's old. It's old. It's not crowded because most people traveling the other way. And so yeah, it's a big problem that we have right now. Meanwhile, if we go up, nope. Let's change view all stations and let's go look at the pretty little Babylon branch. Let's go to Rockville Center here. Actually, let's pick not Rockville Center. We'll do let's do Wantagh. So let's see the 1037 to Babylon. Let's take a look and see what they got. All right, they have 8 cars as well. So they have 8 cars, but it's not crowded. But they shouldn't be running 8-car trains out to out on the main line. They shouldn't be doing that at all. That's just not right at all. Let's see. Let's see if we can. Let's see Central Islip. Let's see. We have 1047 to Ronkonkoma. Let's see. All right, this one is 10 cars, 6 minutes late. Let's see how crowded this is. It's not too bad. But there's going to be crowding on the main line, so just be aware of that. Obviously, this is work they have to do, but again, they shouldn't be running any short trains on the main line. That's incompetence right there. So that's going to be it for this video. Just figured I'd let you know. Again, we have this track work. Though, again, they lied when they said it was one weekend. There are 3 weekends involved with this. And maybe there are even more. Who knows? We just don't know at this point. The MTA obviously not being very truthful in this. But I'm glad the work's being done. And hopefully, hopefully maybe the information I got is wrong, but hopefully they are actually fixing that switch at Floral Park because that needs to be done. That's unacceptable. You can't have a 15-mile-an-hour switch like that. That's absolutely insane. So that's all. Thank you for watching.